Hi everyone, welcome to another Ready to Ride Pilates course, riders. It's all about hip and pelvis control today, which is, I think you'll probably agree, the foundation stone for having good seat, good contact, good effective aids. Apologies for the weather, ground's a bit wet, it's going to be a bit slippery for me, but also it's blowing an absolute gale, so I do hope you can hear me okay, so apologies in advance if there are any sound issues with this one. Okay, so let's just get started thinking about your posture, making sure you've got equal weight through your feet, soft knees, and that nice elastic spine, just stretching you up nice and tall. And then think about your pelvis, so imagine you've got your headlights glued to the front here, and see if you can tilt your headlights up and down, trying to keep your upper body as still as possible. So headlights are on the move. If I go sideways, you can see here it's just my low back and pelvis. This bit of me is staying really still. This is your key starting point. If you can't do this, you're not really ready to progress on, so make sure you've really nailed this one. Okay, we're then going to move on to a nice little exercise. Basically, it's called a hip hitch. It's really non-technical, but it's a nice one that you can practice anytime, anywhere. So have one foot in front of the other. We used to do this at school. It's kind of when you're trying to look really cool. One foot in front of the other, drop the pelvis on the front leg, and then lift. So you're literally dropping and lifting. So it's a hip hitch. You're hitching your hip up and letting it down. Try to keep it smooth, so it's not too jerky. This is a really good way of making sure you've got control on one side of your pelvis at a time. So think about how the horse moves, the fact that it moves one side of its body then the other. We need to be able to do the same. Let's swap and do the same with the other side. So again, lower the pelvis over the front leg and lift. So you're hitching and lowering. Hitch and lower. Again, looking to keep it smooth. You're looking to have symmetry of not just the quality of the movement, but the range of the movement, the control through both sides. I find it a little bit harder with my left side. So don't worry if that's you as well, or it might be the way around, but that's okay. Something just to practice. Okay, let's move on to a little bit more dynamic whole body work. So one foot in front of the other. We're going to do some walking. So we're going to do opposite arms and legs, and just watch as you go that your ribs don't start to come upwards. If I go sideways, you can see that your shoulders stay over your headlights, your ribs sink down. Do watch that you move forward and you're not just up and down on the spot. You want that forwards and backwards, so you're really moving and controlling through your pelvis. I think I'm now got my arms the wrong way around. So it's very easy with this one to get your arms the wrong way around. Okay, then we're going to swap, put the other foot in front. I'll stay sideways. So with those diagonals, but ribs are sinking down and your pelvis is really leading the way. Your pelvis is in control of the movement. Okie doke, let's bring those ones to an end, and we're going to go into your star lunges. So we'll start off with your hands onto your headlights, gives you something to anchor with, and you're thinking again, leading through your pelvis. So you go forwards, diagonal, side, diagonal back, back onto a bent knee. Let's go into the reverse. So back onto the bent knee, diagonal, side, diagonal forwards, onto the front leg, and then we're going straight off onto the other leg. So forwards, diagonal, side, diagonal back, back onto the bent knee, and then into the reverse. So back onto the bent knee, diagonal, side, diagonal forwards, and then forwards. Let's make this a little bit harder. We're going to have your hands now as if you were holding your reins. So you've now got to be really aware of what your pelvis is up to without having that feedback through your hands. Headlights stay forwards, the movement all comes from your hips. So hands forwards. We'll start on the leg that you just finished with. So forwards, diagonal, side, diagonal back, back onto the bent leg, onto the other leg. So back onto the bent leg, diagonal, side, diagonal forwards, forwards, and then into the reverse. So forwards, diagonal, side, keep those headlights forwards, diagonal, back, onto the other leg, back, diagonal, headlights always forwards, moving from the hip, forwards. Last one. Good job. Okay, feet a little bit wider. If you want, you can have your hands on your headlights, but again, it's a good test of your awareness if you have your hands up in front as if you're holding your reins. And you're going to go side to side. So again, your pelvis is moving side to side, your upper body is moving side to side, but all that movement and control is from hips and below. So this bit of you wants to stay completely still. It's your hips that are doing the work. So still here, moving from here, and if you can, hands up in front, holding your nice imaginary level, equal, soft contact. Okay, let's take it up a notch. We're going to do your rear lunge with a step up. So I suggest again to get you going, hands onto your headlights. You're going to go back and up, back and up. I'm just getting to grips with the ground here because it is quite wet and slippery. Okay, if you're finding that easy, hands up in front again as if you were holding reins, so back and up. So now again, you've got to rely on your awareness of what your pelvis is up to, because your hands are now doing what they would in the saddle and being your contact. Depending on how much space you've got and how much you trust the ground you're on, you can make your rear bit bigger. Okay, let's swap and go on to the other side. I'm going straight in with my hands as a contact. You can have your hands on here if you want to. So again, it's back and up, back and up. So you're having to stabilise through the hip muscles on the side you're standing on. You're controlling the movement on the leg you're moving, and your headlights hopefully are staying straight to the front. Hands are soft, hopefully, level. Do one more. Super. Okay, let's have a little walk on the spot. Just let your heart rate come down slightly. It's quite a good exercise for the old cardio side of things as well. Okay, let's move on to some curtsies. Again, I suggest to start with hands onto your headlights. So we'll keep them small. Just crossing your rear leg behind. And with these small ones, try to focus like we did earlier on. This bit of you is not moving. Once again, pelvis stays forwards. The hips absorb and control the movement. Let's make them a little bit bigger. So bigger cross with both legs. Now you will find now your pelvis has to move a little bit to be able to allow that leg to cross behind. That's okay. What you want to then try and do though is control that movement so your upper body doesn't start to go too. And then you can change it and curtsy behind. So same again, your pelvis will have to go with you a little bit. But once again, you're trying to contain that movement so it's just the pelvis and your shoulders don't start to join in. Okay, last one this way. Then your final challenge is to see if you can combine the back and the cross. So it's going to look something like this. And now you'll see that pretty much my whole body is going, but hopefully not my shoulders. So it's a big movement, but because I'm stable through the pelvis, although the pelvis is moving, it's absorbing, containing, controlling, upper body can stay still. Final challenge, if you really want, once again, hands up in front. So you've got your imaginary contact, really testing how independent your pelvis and upper body are. One more each way. Super, okay. Walk on the spot, let everything just relax for a moment. Okay, let's do something on the spot. Again, you can have your hands on your headlights if you want to. One foot out in front. And you're going to draw an arc around behind and an arc back in front. Arc around behind, arc back in front. And this really is a test of your awareness. It's nice and slow, so you can be very precise. All that movement coming from your hip, headlights fixed to the front. It's also a hard exercise on both legs, because this one that you're standing on is having to keep you upright not letting you collapse, flop. So headlights are forwards, nice, controlled, precise movement on the other side. Okay, let's swap. Go to the other leg. So get your balance before you start and into those arcs. Headlights are always to the front, all that movement through your hip. The temptation is to do this, I'm exaggerating, but that's the temptation. So really be precise, be very body aware. So that way when you're in the saddle and you're thinking I want to put my leg behind the saddle, so if you say if you're doing a lateral aid, you don't want to be having this happening through your pelvis because that's just going to completely give mixed message to the horse. You want to be able to just move your leg and the headlights, your pelvis stays level and pointing straight ahead. Okie doke, let's bring that leg under, another little walk on the spot, and then stand on the leg that you first did that arc exercise on. Get your balance, soften the knee, and then close your eyes. Well, I hope I didn't get blown over. Remember to breathe and keep focusing on relaxed, soft upper body. Open your eyes, I'm going to swap and go the other way, or onto the other side. So again, get your balance before you start with your eyes open. Soften the knee, and then close your eyes. Relax through your upper body. Remember to breathe. And then open your eyes, feet onto the floor. Take them out wide. And then we're going to come over onto one knee. You should, or you might feel a bit of a stretch down the inside of this thigh. If you do great. If you don't, just drop your shoulder down towards your foot until you feel a bit of tightening through there. And then come back up. We're going to the same side, so over. If you feel the stretch, great. If not, just dip that shoulder down and up. I'm going to do one more, over. And up, then we're going to go to the other side. So same thing, over onto the knee. If you feel the stretch, lovely. If not, just dip your shoulder down and up. And again, over. Remember, we're not trying to lengthen the muscles. We're just taking them through their full range. They've just been working quite hard. So we're just taking them through their full range before we finish. Okie doke. So then bring your feet back underneath you. Make sure when you finish that you've got equal weight still through your feet, soft knees, and your shoulders are relaxing, not carrying any tension out of this session or onto the next one that you choose to do. So again, apologies for the weather conditions, so unpredictable in this country, but nonetheless I hope you found some of that useful, possibly highlighted some differences between left and right for you to keep working on outside of this session. Look after yourselves, thanks for joining, and I'll see you soon.